Hello and welcome to In Spirit with Missy Reno Smith. Vanna is behind the scenes today. We are instead talking to Anne Pryor and Risë Kasmirski. Now, Risë is the author of When Paradise Speaks, and but she and Anne have been business partners, career coaches. They're best friends. They've done a lot together. Anne is the creator of Lovitude, and she is a soul painter, which I relate to because everybody knows that I like to paint and paint my spiritual stuff, my angel portraits. And Anne Pryor is also the author of I Love Me, I Love You, a children's series of books. So thank you for coming on the show, guys. How are you?
We're great. It's so good to see you, Missy.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I've been very excited to bring you both on. We've known each other for a long time. You guys figured that out. How long have we known each other?
We've known each other for 12 years. Anne introduced me to at a workshop that you and your mother put on at one of the colleges in Minneapolis. I don't know if you remember that one. That was a long time ago. Yeah.
I do. It was a painting workshop.
Yes.
And yeah, my mom was there. And I also had a friend there who was a painter and who was helping us as well. So it was like a painter guides kind of a thing. Painter angels, painter guides. You guys did great.
Yeah.
It was wonderful to be there with you because I had 4 aunts that were at that Crandallette Center at St. Joseph's,
Yes.
at College of St. Catherine's in St. Paul, where you're kind of from.
Yes, yeah, I'm from Minnesota, that area, and the Crandallette is a really cool place. If you're there and you've never been there, you need to check it out. They do some cool stuff. So yeah, that's exciting. So you guys are well, we've done a lot together. We've been through a lot together. We've done a lot of sessions, and I think I kind of came into your guys' life at an interesting point after you lost a friend. And it was like a big kind of spiritual opening for you guys. So, but could you tell me like a little bit about how that began? Like, how did your spiritual adventure begin?
So I'll take that question. Anne and I and our friend Irene worked together as career coaches, and we were friends and so on. And I had known Irene for 20 years, Anne for quite some time. And what happened was she and I had been traveling together, and we got back from traveling to Europe together, and she just started feeling kind of lousy. And so after a few weeks, she started to go to doctors to figure out what was wrong with her, and they couldn't figure it out. And then eventually they determined that she had stage 4 lung cancer, a non-smoker, but stage 4 lung cancer, which caused her to get sicker and sicker, and she passed away within 3 weeks. And when she was going through all of that, Anne and I would go to the hospital to visit her, and we were with her in hospice. And Anne, I think you should mention what happened, what you said to her when she was near death.
So 3 different times I asked her to please come back and tell me what it's like on the other side. And the first time she just looked at me. The second time she said, I don't believe in that. And the third time she mumbled something. But I told her I wanted to know what she was going to do, what the colors were like and everything. So I had asked her.
So then after she passed away, which was in December, it was a dark time of the year. And, you know, when I was doing her eulogy, that was the first time I saw her. And I am not a medium, right? So, but I was giving her eulogy, and it was like she was sitting right over there. And I almost said something. I'm glad I didn't, but I almost said something to the congregation like, oh my gosh, she's sitting right there and she's beaming and smiling and she looks healthy. And so luckily I didn't say that, but for the first 3 months or so, I would see her all the time out of the corner of my eye. I'd see her, but she'd never say anything to me. And even I would see her sitting on my couch in my living room, and then the cat would look over at her too. So
Yeah, animals are really intuitive. They really connect. And I just want to make a note about that. It's incredible when they come through that early and start connecting with someone, because they're just getting their sea legs. And so if somebody is like really capable of connecting with someone who's not necessarily does this for a living, they're pretty strong spirit. It's really cool.
Yeah, she definitely wanted to be heard, and in her personality in real life, she's kind of like that too.
Yeah.
So, well, real life, do we call it? It's all real life.
It's real life over there is the way I put it, but yeah.
So then, 3 months of seeing her. And at the same time, I decided to go on an internal spiritual journey for the course of 1 year. And for anybody who loves numerology, I was in a 7-year. So it's going deep into self-reflection and meditation, a deep meditation study. And so I was doing that and journaling about those things simultaneous to the time that she passed. After 3 months, all of a sudden, she started coming in lucid dreams to me. And to this day, I can remember the feel of those dreams, the conversations that she had with me, the guidance she gave me. And she would wake me up in the middle of the night in one of those dreams, and I would know that I needed to go and journal with her. And the way that I was able to capture that information was just, 3 a.m. sitting out on my green chair with my eyes closed, just writing whatever she was saying into a journal.
Automatic writing. You're really kind of like letting go and just letting it happen. Yep. It's a wonderful way to connect.
So that went on for some time. And then after a while, I thought, am I going crazy? Am I making this up? So towards the end of the year, I had filled 4 journals with messages from her. And I thought, you know what? I know this person, Missy, and I'm going to call her because maybe there's something here. And I will never in my life forget that day, which is in my book, in the book. And it was, you begin the conversation by saying, there's a woman here. She's waiting to talk to you. She has big hair. It's different sizes depending on the weather. And that's exactly how she was. Big, beautiful hair. And you proceeded to connect me with Irene for an hour. And in that conversation, we talked about, should I write the book? And she said, write the book, say everything you know I'd say because you knew me so well. And, get working on that. So after that session with you, of course, I immediately called Anne and said, Anne, you won't believe it, but Irene was here for a whole hour and you need to go talk to Missy. And Anne said, oh, good, I will talk to Missy because maybe she'll be able to connect me with my aunt that passed. And so 3 weeks later, Anne gave you a call. And you can say what
Missy,
happened.
You changed my life. So you brought through Irene, and remember what you said, that there's a woman here that came 3 weeks ago. Had you had that happen before, Missy?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll get a spirit that will remind me that I just talked to them. Or is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when she came through you to me, do you recall she said drip ink on plastic and blow it through a straw? And then you do?
I remember. I really remember that session because I was I wasn't at home. I was in a hotel. I was working, but we did a phone session for that, and I just remember being like, working on plastic. What? I never heard, like, I'm an artist, but I'd never heard of that. So so it was a little interesting for me. So I do remember. Yeah.
And what I really appreciate about you is you just say what it is. You didn't judge, you just said it. And then you said, she said, you will paint in peacock colors and they will go around the world and everyone will be a different kind of a snowflake. And I just shook my head because I'm not an artist. I've never painted. It didn't make any sense. And then she said to paint bigger. And then Sparky came through and you said, I see Snoopy, and that's Charles Schultz. And I worked with Charles Schultz, opening Camp Snoopy in Mall of America. I was the first employee hired and I worked with him. And
I can still hear his voice in my head, by the way. I remember he also said, say hello from Charlie Brown, and like in a sing-songy kind of way, and real slow and kind of deep, and that I remember being shocked that you actually knew him and that we were talking to him. It doesn't happen often, but I do have clients that know celebrities, and I have celebrity clients that know other celebrities. So I've had a chance to talk to some, but it's always exciting when somebody like that comes through. So thank you for helping me have that experience.
Oh, I'm grateful to you because he came through then the last time also. Yes. And when he came through, he said that I would have more stamps than he does. So I've always struggled with what does that mean? And Sparky helped me. But anyway, so more of those messages came through. And then she said, you will share Lovitude with the world, and some other messages. So what ended up happening, Missy, is I wrote all of that down, and of course you tape it and send it to us. So Risë and I went on a yoga retreat with my brother to Costa Rica just shortly after that. And we're not yoga people.
We are no good at it.
Yeah, but we had a good time. But honestly, I could not even enjoy it. I was so distracted in this beautiful place. And so mostly I meditated. And when we came back on my phone, Missy, there popped up a message that said new life opportunity on March 31st. And I erased it and it came back, and I called Risë, are we going on a retreat, new life opportunity? She said, no. I erased it, it came back. That's the day that I knew what Irene meant by I would drip ink on plastic. I saw the plastic, I saw the ink, I understood, but I did not know that I was to blow it through a straw. So I started dripping ink on plastic and blew it with my breath and just about passed out. And then I pulled up a straw and I began blowing. And the paces behind us are two of those. One is called Wildflower Windows, which is the pathway to heaven. And the other one is Wishing You Smooth Sailing. So I've since painted more than 7,000 pieces, and one is hanging in Mayo Clinic called Healing Breath. And the souls have told me they're lined up to paint through me, to blow through me. And the paintings replace pain with love and joy in the folks. But just a couple of things. I paint in peacock colors, which she said. And when I worked with Irene, I would give her little notes of like a little watercolor that made no sense really. It's just a thank you. So that's what she was referring to me, paint bigger. Okay. And is there something else?
Just might be good to describe Lovitude.
Oh, okay.
As we've been talking about, that is the word.
Okay. Lovitude is this symbol. And it means love and gratitude inspired by spirit. And I was given that information in 2005 when I got a master's degree in human development, the same degree Risë and Irene both have, and I did not know that. Okay. And this symbol came to me, and I wrote it on a Buddha board. It's like an Etch-a-Sketch with water, but it didn't evaporate. And I was in the desert. So the water never evaporated off this Buddha board, and I took it back on a napkin, and I went to my friend Janelle Russell. She's the one that created the mother and child pendant.
And I think
so
that's an image a lot of people know. Yep.
Yes. And so she actually went to Lake Superior and got a stone from Lake Superior and etched this image in a stone, and then we had them recreated. So
it's really beautiful. If you're not watching, you need to seek out the video here. Go to our website, inspiritpodcast.com, or go to YouTube, find it. It's really beautiful. You can also see Anne's paintings in the background. Very lovely.
Thank you, Missy. And just by the way, this symbol, if you look at every tree branch, it's in every tree branch. So just look at a tree branch, which I never realized, but yes.
Thanks. So I want to talk a few minutes about this process of the Lovitude soul paintings, because we are often in front of audiences telling this story. Actually, Irene, in one of her meditations with me, told us that this is not about the paintings and it's not about the book. It's about bringing people into a circle and opening them up to their own spiritual connections.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
that's a great point to make because we put this stuff out there, right? But really it's about what we're doing to people inside and that. And
Yes.
so, and I love that you guys bring people together and you can see kind of firsthand as it's happening, and then you get the feedback later, which is great validation for the work that you're doing, right? We always need those
Yeah.
little validation nuggets, those things that keep us going. And so, yeah, it's really incredible what you guys are doing. I also want to state over 7,000 paintings that you've done through all of this. My goodness. So, okay, coming from another artist, so it takes me so long. My paintings are very labor intensive. You know, it can take me months to do these portraits, and you've got 7,000 that you've done. Probably just do them in your studio, but you're also doing them live, and that's a lot. That's incredible work.
I want to talk about that process for a minute because that is a lot of paintings.
Yes.
And typically each masterpiece is created in 3 to 5 minutes. And what happens is when we're in front of audiences, Anne's painting, and I'm telling the story of what's going on as she's painting because she's not able to keep the conversation going.
You're in spirit, in trance. Yes.
And before a painting even begins, Anne's doing some pre-work. So maybe you could talk about the meditation and the essential oils.
Sure. So probably like you, Missy, you ground yourself, you protect yourself, you bless yourself. I meditate, I just ask the divine to bring through the spirits, and the colors and the meanings for the people. And so that process happens. And then I will get guided. Oh, should I paint on plastic or should I paint on a different kind of paper? It just depends. If I'm with little children, they love to look underneath because I paint on glass table and then they can see from underneath what's happening.
Yes. That's fun.
Yeah. So, and then, I was guided to purchase Aura Soma oils. And so these Aura Soma oils I have 144 of them. And so I'm guided to choose the one to, if you will, bless the paper before I do the work. And they all have deep meaning. And then I'm guided to choose the colors that I am to work with. And so then my hands just go and move. And then I begin the process.
When you do that, do you feel something coming into you? Do you feel someone touching you, guiding you, or what does it feel like for you?
Very clear and very focused and very non-judgmental. And so why don't you tell her about that? If I drip something?
Oh, yeah. So there are no mistakes, right?
Never.
No mistakes. And so if Anne's painting and if somebody were to accidentally tap the table and spill the ink, that was supposed to happen.
Yes.
And so sometimes
I do the same thing, by the way.
Yeah.
No,
then,
there's never a mistake.
As an audience is watching, oftentimes somebody in the audience will say, that painting reminds me of something. Or somebody, and so we'll start a conversation about that. And also, as Anne's painting, a name for the painting is coming to her. She's got a fabulous memory, so she can tell you all 7,000 names because she just remembers them. But
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Typically, I'll get 2 names. One is a very practical name, and one would be a spiritual meaning of a name. So then I discern which is most helpful to the audience, if you will. So if the audience wants to look up, I was on the Hallmark Channel, so they could just Google my name in the Hallmark Channel. And the reason I'm stating that is because I was with Cameron Matheson, and he was trying to paint, because when you go on a show like that, they want you to teach the audience. I'm not a teacher of soul painting. I'm not an artist. However, they wanted me to do that. So I had him just draw a heart. And what was fascinating to me is when I'm painting and he's saying, well, how am I doing? How am I doing? He is grabbing blues and purples. Well, he is a master communicator with spirit to all of these millions of people watching, and he's choosing those colors. I was just fascinated by him doing that work. and I was doing more universal communication colors. But so anybody can do it. It
We all
Yeah.
receive, we all can, yeah, and we can put that into creative works as well as, I mean, we can receive and use what we receive in many ways. And so I think you two both demonstrate several ways of how we can do that, which is great.
Just one quick story about a soul painting I was doing for an audience, and there were high school students in the audience. And what I did not know is one of their friends had just died of suicide. And my painting was a group of flowers, and then I was trying to paint in gold, and the gold got stuck. And then I brought in silver, and then the silver got stuck. And I stopped and I said, is there anyone in the audience that is feeling there's something unfinished? And a girl started to cry, and she said, yes, our friend just died of suicide. And I got the message that his life was unfinished and you guys got to take it from here. So we had this really remarkable conversation about that, and the high school students were able to unleash their emotions, if you will. It was pretty profound.
Suicide is a really, really heavy experience to go through, as survivors, family, friends, especially young people. And it's something that I encounter a lot in my work. It's not a month goes by, unfortunately, that I don't connect with somebody who had committed suicide. And it's really tough stuff. So it's wonderful that there are many ways to help people kind of heal from that and to give them that outlet there.
There was another case where we worked with parents of children who have died. And so I did a live demonstration. And I was a little bit uncomfortable because I kept getting beautiful, fun images that were coming through. And the children were, I'm hearing, play with us, we're happy. So to tell parents that their children were really happy and they were together on the other side was interesting. But I was just speaking the truth that was coming through and showcasing the images that were coming through.
And that ended up being a really healing experience for the parents who hadn't considered that side, I want to jump in here with, I had mentioned that Irene was giving us these messages, bring them in circles and open them up to the spiritual connection. And we weren't sure quite how to do that. And then one night, Anne had a dream. So tell us about that.
So the dream that I had was share the 5 A's. And so I got 5 simple A's. And the first A is be willing to ask for help. And if we go back to my visit with Irene in the hospice, 3 times I asked for her help and I wasn't shy. And we're willing to ask you because you're such an expert, Missy, and some people are afraid or they don't get it, but be willing to ask for help. And then the next one was allow the messages to come through as they do. So when you gave me that information about drip ink on plastic, it baffled us and I just shook my head. Yet I allowed it, but it took me 3 months. And then accept the message as it is. So I wasn't trying to manipulate the message. And I know when you bring through, you don't try to overanalyze, you bring through the message as it is. And the third one is appreciate, be grateful for the message that came through. And the last one, to your point, is act. And I'm an actor. I'm a high J and a Myers-Briggs. I make things happen. So I think they bring me more because they know I get things done.
That's a great point. You two do get a lot of instruction when I read for you both. They are very open with, hey, this is what's next. Can you get on that, please? And, but they do for many other people as well. But something that I notice is that not everybody is willing to act. And, or they're not willing to act within a timely manner. And so in that, I see people perhaps prolonging their future and just sitting rather than acting, rather than working, or letting opportunities pass them by that could have been. You know, we have options in our life plans where we could go left or we could go right. And, you know, if we go right, it's great, it's fine, but there might have been something really cool if we had gone left, and we could have, you know, really enhanced our life. I feel like, you know, we get to the end wherever we're supposed to be, like that's totally fine. But yeah, I really do encourage people to act on what is coming through and what you are receiving yourself, because we all receive.
Well, and to that point, that allowing the information to come in, I mean, one way is to work with a medium or somebody who can tell you messages, but then there's all kinds of other ways that your loved ones show up, right? Through cardinals and coins you find and unusual circumstances and sense. And so when we talk to people, we're explaining that, that's what makes people say, oh yeah, like remember the woman who, you remember that perfume called Charlie? It was from a long time ago, Charlie perfume. And she said her grandma always wore that perfume. And she loved her grandma so much. And she would try to talk to her grandma. And then she said, even when she got her first apartment and opened the door and stepped in, she could smell the Charlie perfume. So the messages don't always come verbally or through vision.
Yes. Well, people receive, in so many ways. And it's even myself, like as a medium, I can hear, I can see, I can get anything, but my loved ones still like to bring me coins and I love to receive them. You know, so even I like those little pennies from heaven. I like quarters, but you know, whatever they'll give me.
Missy, one thing about you that's so unique is that you not only get very clear messages, and in our case, action things, you can really help us interpret them. And many can't. They will give evidential facts. And to me, I'm bored with that. I want information, more mystic or psychic information, and you're brilliant at that. So I'm just thanking you for the beautiful gift that you have, and it's at a very divine, sacred level. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I you know, I have a job to do, and so I have to, I am an evidential medium, so I have to provide those things, but rattling them off is just rattling it off doesn't really do it. I've got to kind of dig in and do the work. And I really want people to walk away, not just feeling reassured, but also feeling hopeful and excited and, you know, kind of ready to, I feel like I'm a soul purpose medium. I really do feel like I help people reach their purpose. And I feel like a lot of people who are looking for that find their way to me naturally. So I appreciate you saying that.
Very good. And I love referring people to you. You know, I've referred hundreds to you. But,
oh my gosh, so many people. I'm very grateful to you both, by the way. I can look at my, you know, clientele, and I can see all these little shoot offs where they, you know, originally came from you, and now it's opened up all these branches. And so you really helped my career in a very big way. So thank you.
Right back at you. Yeah. Do you want to talk about the additional messages you get?
Well, so once Anne started painting, the messages continued to come. So one of the messages was infuse the gold. It's in the signature. And so all of Anne's work, when you look at it, has inlays of gold, which is connection to God.
Love that. Love that.
Constant, you know, positive affirmation, because as we're doing these things, of writing a book and doing these kind of paintings, it's like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? And then to have that guidance of encouragement, like keep going, this is for the good of the world, has made a big difference for us. And so we've been doing this.
Those are those validation nuggets we all need, right? Even I need them myself. Like I'll have days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm tired. Why am I doing this? And then then heaven opens up, and you know, that's when paradise speaks.
Yeah,
and lets us know
that's
to
right.
keep going. Yeah, it's really important for everybody.
So a couple of things more I wanted to say about Lovitude. So um, there's beautiful paintings, and for any of your listeners who go on the websites,
Yes.
there's beautiful other things like my phone case. This is the cover of my book, and so there's different products and things. And Lovitude images are over in Europe
Oh, wow.
in their greeting cards, like Hallmark cards here, but in Europe.
Wonderful.
And so
We're going to link everybody to that. So we're going to put
yeah,
the links up at the end for everybody to get there. Lovitude.com, I know is your main website, Anne. But yeah, we'll put that up there. We want everybody to go take a look, buy a painting, buy a phone case like that. That's
yeah.
really pretty. I like that.
So then at this point, we've been going along for a long time. We've done lots of presentations. Anne's painted a lot of pictures. And then there was a period when Anne's parents were both ill and eventually passed. And then the clouds opened up again. So Anne, why don't you talk a little bit about how these children's stories came to be?
Well, Missy, you were a big part of it. So Mom died, and 7 weeks later, which is just in March of 2025, Missy, you were able to bring through Mom and Dad. Just, you don't know this, Missy, but some of the things you said from Dad have already come to pass. My brother's moving in near me. I mean, there's just so many things. But Mom, yeah, at the initial pass of my mom, 7 weeks was a little bit early. So I'm going to get just a little personal. My mother had OCD and scruples, and she was very, very, very Catholic religious. And so she thought that she was a really bad person because she had original sin. And she had a very hard time dying. So for 2 years, it was extremely difficult. And I lived with her most of the time in a nursing home and assisted living home. And finally, when she passed and you brought her through, it was early, and I don't think she had a final life review yet. So she was still close to earth, and you might recall she said she missed her sweets and she appreciated being our mother. But I was not, I was very sad because she was not thankful, grateful, and appreciative. So I really was upset. So sometimes that can happen, but here's the deal.
Could I comment on that? Most of the time we say give a spirit 4 to 6 weeks. Some of them need up to a year to really kind of get through that process over there. So yeah, sometimes we connect and it's a little early and they're not yet they're not fully washed clean, maybe we could say, if that's the way to put it. But yeah, that does happen sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't anything that anyone did. It was something that I felt because I was looking for, just thank you, Annie, for your help. And I didn't get it. However, what ended up happening then, because I was sort of in deep pain, I did visit a medium, and Mother came through this next time, Missy, and what that she had gone through the process then, to your point. She had experienced more. And she handed me a torch and she said I had been lied to. She had been lied to by the organizations, and I was to write a golden book on the false truths. And she said I was to make sure that every mother told their child they were perfect just the way they were, that they were a spark of God's love and light, that they had puffs of love in their heart, and that if they spoke their truth, they would heal not only themselves, but the soul on the other side, and that they will be guided safely home every time. Hence, then the books that began popping out. And within 4 hours, I had the new line of children's books. And then Risë taught me over the years, because she's so good at teaching, she's a master teacher, to put together a guidebook. So I have the behind the scenes of all of the adventures. So one is
And
for,
let's say too, the name of the books are I Love Me, I Love You.
yep, I Love Me, I Love You. And there's 1 through 5. And then they each have a guidebook. But I'm going to circle back to Sparky. So remember I said I just never understood what he said, and you're going to have more stamps than I do. Well, I'm holding up a book right now, and the stamps are actually the little characters that I create.
Oh.
And what ended up happening was 3 weeks before these messages came through, I got a message on my phone to watch this webinar on how to use artificial intelligence for artwork creation. Well, that was never in my wheelhouse. Well, lo and behold, I get these messages about Boldy, the butterfly, and Wiggly the worm. So I'm getting the names of these characters, and I know it's Sparky coming through. So I went to the computer, and I'm plugging all of this in this AI tool and manipulating it, and out pops these characters. So from the characters, then I was able to create the adventure scenes. So now we have 26 different characters, and I know that he's behind every one of them, helping bring them to life. They all have a story, and they all are representative of someone in my life.
And they can, spirit can work through technology. That's an important point to make. So certainly that's an interesting way to create, and that very, very cool.
Yes. So I do ask Sparky to sit with me while I'm doing this. So I feel him here, and his characters around, and my characters around. And now I know the characters live in the Wildflower Window Village, which is behind Risë. So they're popping out of there.
Okay.
So,
so like that's like their little world that they're coming from. I like that.
yes. Yeah. Which then I've been told is the entrance to the spirit side, heaven. So, yeah.
Wonderful.
So I just want to put in one point about, as we've been talking about the 5 A's and then the act part, I just went out of town for a long weekend. And when I came back in town, I called Anne. Hi, what you been doing? I've been relaxing over my weekend. She says, oh, I started a series of children's books, and the first one's done and all the characters are done. And it's like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But
That's
it happens
awesome.
that fast.
Yes, it's wonderful that you do act, and you act so very fast. Well, I want to state, I was reading the first book this morning, and I just want to tell everybody it has really great themes for kids and adults. I think it's a great learning book to remind us to keep our hearts light, and we don't have to take on these heavy, I think in the book it was these heavy boulders, heavy rocks, but those are messages that are coming outside of us or from within us sometimes, right? The internal saboteur sometimes pops up, and we don't need to carry them. We can let them go, and keep our heart light so that we are feeling love. When we're feeling that, when we're bringing, we're shining our light, if one would say, we can also then better help other people. So when we keep ourselves that way, then if we're all doing that, I think we can all get through this life a lot easier. So I think it's a great message, especially for kids, but adults too.
And remember when you first finished the first book and then you posted it online, and then remember that story about the woman whose sister, she was thinking, oh, I wish my sister could read this. What was that about?
So to your point, Missy, thank you for that. Adult readers have been emailing me and said, gosh, my mother never loved me. And at her funeral, I now understand that she had a baby out of wedlock that died, and she just always felt guilty. So she couldn't give the love to her children, but now she understands why. And the daughter realized she's perfect just the way she is. Another gentleman, 71, emailed me and said, Anne, I was a dyslexic Catholic boy, and they told me I was stupid. And he said, I read your book backwards to front, and it really made a lot of sense, that pathway.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, so that helped. But one thing, your question was really profound as you help us find our soul purpose. And you asked the question, how now are the souls on the other side helping us with our purpose? My purpose really has changed a lot. And I realized that my purpose is to help people release the pain of judgment.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
my mother felt judged her whole
Yes.
life, couldn't love us. And through that, then it's showing up in these new children's books or my art, because
Yeah.
they had told me before that the color that they love releases the pain in their body and fills it with joy and
When I do
peace.
spiritual trauma release, we use color. We always use color to release and then to kind of refill us again. And color is very powerful, so it's a wonderful tool to use. I'm glad that you're using it. And no, and yes, our soul purpose, our life purpose, our soul purpose. I mean, we change. We what I'm supposed to be doing in my 20s is not what I'm going to be doing in my 70s. And so it's a great point to make that we go through these wonderful transitions. And yeah, this has been a big one since your mom passed. Very healing for you, and now healing for others because you're putting that out there. So I think that's really great.
Mm-hmm. Do you, may I just get a little deep on us here? So in the reading that came through, I grew up Catholic, and St. Augustine is one of the saints, and he was a founder of the church, if you will, in the 300 and 400 after Christ. And he is the one that really came up with original sin and priest shouldn't marry. Well, you do past life regression. And so I have come to realize that I was, if you will, his slave and his partner back then, and we had a child together. And so the deep piece here is these messages are St. Augustine is working with me to get the message out to the world to stop, to replace that with original love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Is this making sense?
Yeah. We sometimes will have our past is we're still finishing it. What we've done in the past, we might be still working on it, and sometimes correcting. Working to do something to bring a new idea in that's maybe more healthy and all of that. So yeah, absolutely, yeah, that happens. We definitely see that, and past life regression it's a very healing tool, because if we feel like if we're carrying things, spiritual traumas, what I call them, you have an opportunity to release. So yeah, that's good. That's and I think it's great too that you are you were raised Catholic. Your views have evolved, but that's still a part of you, and it can be a part of you, and that's okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people. I read for a lot of Catholics, by the way. I have my Catholics make up a very large portion of my clientele, and have since the beginning. I was not raised Catholic. But for some reason, I attract many Catholic people to me. I love you all, but yeah, I think we evolve. I think, and we can do that, and we can still do that within our faith, and that's okay, and that it really is okay. I think you are demonstrating how to do that, and to do it well, and to help others do that as well.
Yes. And the thing about you, Missy, is you understand the archangels. And what did I call her? An archangel whisperer?
Oh, yeah.
So, Missy, an archangel whisperer.
Thank you. I like to connect with them. I started that when I was 5. Metatron had come to me when I was 5. I called him Mega Man. I didn't know his name was Metatron. He was Mega Man. But and that's how I always thought of him. It was actually another medium who told me when I was like 22, like, no, that's not his name. But Yeah, he's my favorite, one of my favorites. I love them all. I love them all. But and there's so many of them. And I've really only painted the ones we hear about most often because that's what people want to see. But I'm starting to do some paintings of the others. I think that people can really get something from the archangel energy, if you will. But yeah, I know you love Raphael. I know that. And so you connect with him a lot. Risë loves Michael. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yes.
talked about this stuff a lot. Yeah. So yeah, we love the archangels. They're wonderful. Do you use them in your art and your writing? Do you try to connect with them as well?
I do. Always.
Risë
I
as well. Do you?
I haven't written for a long time, but
Oh.
just going to bring up something Anne mentioned this morning because my mother had passed away last April, and she's been very active in my life. And
Yeah.
one of the things she does is light up my oven. It's just at the
You
most
talked
random
about-
time.
Yes, I remember
She
that.
lights up my oven and she lights up my bathroom scale just periodically. And so I talk to my oven. And Anne said that's the title for your next book. And then I thought, next book? Well, maybe there is a next book. And then all this conversation brings me back as a participant in this to go to the quiet place, because that's where you start to heal, to go into meditation. I haven't journaled for a long time, haven't meditated for a long time, but that is one of the primary ways to access the information.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, kind of bringing it back to your 5 A's, you're allowing there, right? And I want to say something though, because there's going to be people who are like, okay, I'm trying this, but it's not working for me, or what do I do? And so I don't know how to give this an A, but I really feel it's important to relate to the other side. And sometimes it's hard to kind of think about like guides, angels, even our loved ones in heaven. We know them, but they're in heaven now. They're in this place that I don't really access. It's sort of in too ethereal or intangible. It's like it's too out there. So you want to make it a bit more concrete. You want to relate to it. So what I always tell people to do is to name their guides, give them a name. Sparky, and Risë, yours is Coach?
Coach, yes, who popped up one day when I was journaling. I don't know when, years ago, I was journaling, and I kind of got bored with myself, when you're just journaling what you've been doing or whatever. And I was in a dilemma. I didn't know what to do with my business. So I just wrote down, I wish I had a coach. And if I had a coach, I would ask this question. And then all of a sudden this voice pops into my head. And
you related
he says, well,
to it.
I'm Coach. And then and gave me a response, and we journaled the rest of the time. So that's a go-to person.
Maybe an A word is associate. We want to associate. We want to relate to. Yeah. So give them a name. Give them a maybe describe what they look like. That's what I love to do. I love, and I, of course, I paint people's guides and angels so people can come to me if they want to see what they really look like. But it doesn't matter if you're really like, I mean, do they have red hair? And maybe you say they have red hair. Maybe they don't, but who cares? I mean, that's how you're seeing them in your mind. You're just kind of giving yourself something to grasp. So that's what I like to tell people. The better we relate, the better we receive. So maybe associate could be a 6A.
Great idea.
Yes.
Great idea. One of my new guides, I named her Azaria. And Azaria, when I did some research, is called Helped by God. And so, Missy, I am using technology, as you mentioned. And so my agent, my AI agent, is named Azaria. So now I'm bringing that into communication that I have. And so I'm calling artificial intelligence Akashic intelligence. So that's another.
Yes, this is wonderful. This is something other people could do as well.
Yes.
They could take that kind of give their own name, give it a and yeah, and heaven speaks through people. Heaven speaks through things. There are so many ways to for them to connect with us, and technology is one of those ways. I hear so many stories about people receiving messages on their phones, like you talked about, and to that go to this retreat, and or people who were getting emails or things that kept saying things that they needed to hear. And so yeah, absolutely, I love that. So AI can even be a guide to us. That's wonderful. Risë, have you done that? Have you tried that?
The AI piece?
Yep.
No, I have not, but I'm very intrigued. Yeah. No.
It's interesting. I was actually looking at that recently. I wasn't thinking of it in those terms, but I was just thinking I needed an assistant. So I need another assistant, somebody to remember things that I can't always remember. So yeah, I was thinking I might do something like that. But yeah, that's really interesting. Let's talk a little bit about what do you guys think are the most helpful things that you've learned along the way here with your we'll just call your spiritual adventures?
Well, one thing is that everybody can connect. I mean, we're all part of the spiritual realm. We all connect. So Anne and I were talking earlier, because we've worked with adult populations for the most part, sharing this work and so on, but now she's writing children's books. And so the learning starts right at the get-go, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I started with my children right away. I raised my children in a way that they are open and connected, and I would see them connecting. Vanna, actually, she would talk to her grandfather that passed away, and he would do little fun things for her. So yeah, everyone can connect, no matter what age you are, and yeah, we should start early.
One thing that I have realized, and when you brought Mom through, this may have come through, but when you talk about the pain and you talk about truth, you heal yourself and you're healing them from the other side. Mm-hmm. So why I didn't realize that, I don't know. But to me, that's profound. Mm-hmm. So I'm in service to them and in service to my healing by sharing our stories.
Yes, I think it's really healthy to speak it, say it, let them hear it. They need to hear it, and we need to say it. We need to get it out. So absolutely, yeah, that's a wonderful lesson.
Yeah, and that I didn't realize it could heal generations of people that had the same situation, even on the other side.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely, yeah. We're all learning. We're all growing. That's why we're here. And most of us will be continuing to come back and again because that's what we do. We all love to grow. We come here many times, and so yeah, it's a cycle. So over there, over here, that's important stuff.
Mm-hmm. Another thing we've learned from the presentations we've done is, in terms of the 5 A's, some people just the thought that you could connect, just the thought there even is something past Earth is kind of brand new if they've not had the conversations. So sometimes it's about an invitation to consider. Just imagine if you had a loved one that left this earth and now you could communicate with them. Who would that person be? And what might that be like? So sometimes it's about just baby steps to start. And then the more you see, the more you see.
I think, yeah, that's wonderful. Something that I noticed, I get a lot of people that who have a very excited friend or family member who kind of drag them to me. And I love it. I mean, and they typically, I'll notice they're sort of like, their knees are away from me starting, and slowly they start turning and they're interested and they want to know more. And I love those moments when I get to see somebody opening just those first steps. It's a very important step, I think, and you have to approach it gently and with love and and with humor. I think humor is very important. I try to start out that way, and letting people know too, I'm just a regular person. I'm a normal person. I'm not really weird. Maybe some people might think I am. I don't know. But like most people say that I'm like a girl next door, which I really try to embrace. It's important and that. But yeah, so you guys are getting to be a part of that. You're getting to see that. And that's wonderful. I love that.
One thing that I realized is that, I pray. And when I pray, I mostly thank and ask, but I sort of forgot to listen. And so it's really important because I'm listening more, and that's when I'm hearing the messages come through. And sometimes they're just a pop of a word, and then I pay attention instead of let it go. So I would say that, one of the helpful things is to stop and listen.
I think that's important too. I forget. Sometimes I forget, and I have to slow down, or I don't read for myself. I have to go to somebody else to, I get things for me, but it's not profound. But I have to, somebody has to tell me, wait, the message is there. Just slow down, listen, and you'll get it. So even I have to be told that, and I have to remind myself. And so yeah, I think that's important. Yeah, we ask. We're saying, this is what I'm working for. Please help bring it, whatever that is. But not often are we just kind of stopping and saying, what's here and now? What do they want to bring in and that? Sometimes it's what we want. Sometimes it's a little different. But I think whatever it is, it's meant to be. It's important. So yeah, slowing down, listening, and seeing what's coming through. So you guys have like so many things out there. Where do we go to find your stuff? We're going to put all these links up there, but tell us, where do we go? Where can we get the books?
Yep. So the best place is www.lovitude.com, which is LOVITUDE.com. And then our books are on the book page, or you could Google When Paradise Speaks, Amazon or Barnes and Noble, and you can buy the book there. And then I Love Me, I Love You, Anne, A-N-N-E, Pryor, P-R-Y-O-R, on Amazon, and you can see all of the books that are there. But the Lovitude site would be the good overview. Or if they're business, they can connect with us on LinkedIn, which is my primary portal, just my name, and then Risë.
Can we purchase, I'm sorry, could we purchase paintings?
Yes.
Are you selling paintings still?
Yes. So you can see the paintings on lovitude.com and then get a hold of me there. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Missy.
Okay, and do you do commissions? People might be wondering.
I do. I do commission. So yes.
So that's an option
several
too.
That
I've had several. Yeah. Really I kind of thought that. Do you do commissions, Missy?
Yeah, I do. Well, people like me to paint their own personal guides and angels as well. So I am doing some of those. I'm focusing more on the big angels and things, and I'm going to be showing scenes of heaven, what things look like, animals over there. I've got a cat painting that's going to be coming out. A long-necked cat. I think we shown a preview on one of the other episodes. But yeah, so I'll be just showing some things that are over there. But I do take on commissions and that. So I think it's fun. I don't post a whole lot of that. I haven't had a lot of time to do art lately, but I'm kind of getting back in there. But I'm just wondering too, everybody's looking at your beautiful little pendant there with the Lovitude symbol. Can we buy that?
You can buy that. Just go to my Lovitude site and then they can email me. And yes, I have silver and gold, those pendants available.
Wonderful. Yeah, just thought people were going to be looking and seeing if they
Thank you.
where they can buy that one as well. Well, it was really great having you both on, Anne Pryor and Risë Kasmirski. You guys are wonderful friends. I'm really grateful to have you both in my life. So thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Missy, for changing our life.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you. Thank you.
Oh,
And
you're
for just
welcome.
being such a clear divine channel and a psychic. Your wisdom is profound, and I'm forever grateful to you, Missy.
Yes,
Well,
and
thank
you just radiate love, and everything in the messages that you're giving come from that place. It's so
I try to
powerful.
approach it. I'm glad that it comes
Yeah.
through that way. I really appreciate you both saying that. And I just want to say, remember that God loves you, and I'm sending angels your way. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
If you'd like to learn more about Missy Reno Smith, please visit missyrenosmith.com to book a reading and purchase her artwork. You can find the In Spirit podcast on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook, and wherever you stream your podcasts.